I don't know about love. I don't know what it's supposed to sound like, but I do what longing sounds like. It's not like I have never known. Some really nice things have been said to me. I have said some really nice things. But it's somehow always about what could have been, right? The wishes, the wants, the heart wants what it wants, doesn't it? All the time, always. So for the next 2 minutes, imagine you are the one who's written this letter.
3rd September 1919. Dear Janet, I write to you from Paris, though I am soon to leave it. After 4 years, I am going back to Palestine. I'm sorry I did not write to you earlier. I wish I had. Regrets. Pile on regrets. You see, I had hoped I would forget you. In my mind, you were bound up for so long with pain that to think of you always was to feel again the sting of everything else. I hoped that somehow my memories of life before I came to France might be the ones to stick, and that you would slide off them, and I would remain the same underneath all of it. But I feel that on the contrary, my experience with you has become one of those primeval shapes of the mind to an imprint that burdens everything that comes forward. The sting has weakened with time a little. My memories of you have not. I have many things to apologize for. I'm sorry I did not tell you where I was going. I am sorry that I left suddenly. Three years ago, I met Samuel from the medical faculty, and he told me you had become a nurse. Imagine. I imagine you have returned to Montpellier now. It is funny that I should have been the one to study medicine, and you should have been the one to practice it. I hope that you have not seen too many terrible times. I feel shame at the fact that you probably have. Jeanette, you have stayed in my mind for 4 years. You are always. You have always been here in this mind. Not only because the pain has lasted. You have lasted. I hear your voice every day. I see you beside me on the terrace. I see your hair, all those different shapes and shades on different days. I recall your smell. And that yellow dress? I remember your breath when you kissed me. I remember your anger when you turned from me. I hope you understand how painful it was to discover your father's writings. I had hoped to marry you. I was just too shy to say it. For this, again, I'm sorry. I do stand by what I said, however. I became myself here, in this country. And for that reason, I cannot represent anything. I belong here as well as I do in Palestine. I wish you to know I meant well. It was all for love. For you. It was all for my love for you. I wish you a good life. I shall never forget you. Yours, Midhat.
Regrets do pile on regrets, don't they? I wish I had done something else. I wish you had done something else. I wish I did not walk away. I wish I stopped you when you walked away. I wish this never happened. I wish I never met you. I wish I can forget you. I hope you can forgive me. Do you remember I exist? You still are my life. Am I yours? So on and so forth, right? Wishes, wants. If you wrote this letter, would you expect a reply? If this letter was written to you, what would you say? This letter is from the book called The Parisian that I have been reading for a while now. Yeah, for a while, because I just cannot get myself to read the last chapter, but for what it's worth. My dad doesn't get an answer for 30 years. For 30 years, he moves on with his life. He's on another planet, another side of the globe. He keeps remembering Jeanette once in a while. Pay attention to the dates on the letter. She had written a letter which apparently reached not Midhat, but his father, who got it translated, heard half of it, and buried it without anyone ever finding out. After he died, after 30 years, Midhat is clearing out his papers and he finds this, and he literally goes insane. Literally goes insane.
7th October 1919. Dear Midhat, it's now 4 years since you left us in Montpellier. 4 years. I cannot believe it even as I write it. I find myself thinking about you often.
Thank you for your letter. To tell you the truth, it causes me some distress to discover that you were in Paris. The thought that we may have spoken before now. You may also wonder why I have not tried to write you. The truth is, for a long time, I was angry and in pain. And I suppose most of all, I was confused. I'm afraid this might not reach you before you leave, so I'm sending this to Nablus. Which means you're reading this at your home. I hope your journey was safe and pleasant. I've been wanting to write to you for so long, and now I am here at least with a pen. I don't know what to write. All the things I had thought to say are suddenly difficult to put into words. When you left, the warmth of the house followed after you. I think we hadn't noticed how much joy and delight you supplied by your presence. I wish I had behaved differently. If we could recover ground that has already been lost. But you're right. It is senseless to try. I wish only that what has happened might not be final. I feel as if I'm riding into space. It is strange not knowing how you will feel when you read this. I wish I could see your face. Oh, my dad, sometimes I think I feel you in my breath. This is difficult to bear. The long years of this war have been a stretch on all of us. And now they are lifted. I want to ask you one last thing. Will you come back? I know you have recently arrived, so I wouldn't expect you immediately. And I don't want to beg. I want only to tell you how much I long for your company. I have wronged you. Please know that the error was not only yours, and I hope and wish we might remake some of what was broken during that one event over dinner. I cannot tell you how mortified I was to wake and find you were gone. I am still so filled with remorse and pain, even 4 years on. At first, I don't think I knew it was remorse. I distracted myself. I went to join Marianne at Devon Le Pere. I was useless as a nurse. But they needed hands even to help with the cleaning, and even though there wasn't much time, with all the wounded coming, I like to read to them in the evenings, especially those who were certain to die. Devon was not a happy place, but I had not been in company of so many people for a long time, and that was a distraction. I'm glad also for Marine's sake, that she did not have to witness all this devastation alone. And there was a garden, a little way from the hospital, which was usually empty and where I would feel peaceful and sit very still and think of you. When I left, when the war ended, which had been a cloud on everyone's vision, all I knew was that it was suddenly quite obvious to me what I had done. I do not know what exactly happened between Sylvian and my mother, but my understanding is that she was probably in love with him. I do not think he behaved dishonorably. In fact, it was he who severed the connection. He was like an elder brother to her, I think.
He certainly cared about her. I only know that when my grandfather asked him to marry her, he declined. That is all I know. That is probably all I will ever know. Sylvian is difficult. And as he gets older, he gets even more difficult. And the few times I tried to ask him, he was very unkind to me. I sense some soreness there, which it was not my right to touch. And besides, he's spending much more time in Paris now, so we hardly see him anyway. My dad, I'm sorry for dragging you into my mother's affairs and for making you think I wanted you to solve it. Really, I just wanted comfort and someone to talk about it with. It was an unhealthy obsession. That awful night before you left, I did not defend you. I am so sorry. The only excuse I can offer is that I was shocked and not strong enough to handle my own mind and morals and desires. In that moment, it was loyalty to my family, my father, for in the end, it is just him and me. Together. I have no other family. That dictates me in times of rupture. It was instinctive, though on reflection, I know I was in the wrong. As for my mother, I feel very strongly now that it is beyond time to close off the past and to stop trying to find out how and why she died. I know the how, but why? My obsession with her has prevented me for long enough to fully experience the present time. I feel my mind has snagged on that mystery as on a broken hook, and it has been and will be hard to tear it off without suffering. But I must do so or I will never go anywhere. I refuse to hang there forever. How many of these things I ascribe to her are truly really about myself? Not wanting to live, making herself sick so that she would not have to step out into the world. I believe this could just as easily be said of me. Because above all, I feel it has prevented me from appreciating you, my dear Madad. But how many times shall I say I feel in this letter? I am not a good writer of letters. It is winter here, and the pound has frozen in Montpellier. The city is quiet. I don't know if we shall have any more parties. We tuned the piano yesterday, and I have been practicing.
I miss you very much. Come back. Yours ever, Jeanette. Time doesn't necessarily makes it okay. Sometimes maybe it requires way more effort than anything you've ever done before. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe he could have gone back once. Maybe she could have written more. Maybe. How do you make up for the lost 30 20 years. How do you make up for time that is never going to come back? Well, I guess those who remember. Those who forget are extremely lucky. If you've reached the end, thank you for hanging out. Check out the socials. Add me on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. Let's have a conversation. Tell me who got away for you. Share, like, subscribe. I've been experimenting a little bit here and there. Maybe we'll get back on track. Once again, this is Adya from the podcast What Saves Me from Drowning. Have a nice day, you.